We're here with John here, and John's going to explain his story as to how he ended up like this. Okay, John, talk to me.
Okay. The first time this basically all started was when I was 14, is when I found the streets. I was homeless. And I went back and forth with my family. You know, I ended up getting a high school degree and a college degree, but that was down the road.
What kind of college degree
I
did
have
you
a Bachelor of Arts, you know, humanities, philosophy, and anthropology, sociology. Totally useless crap. It's good stuff. It was for me. I went to school for me. When I went to school, I was actually doing well. I had a tattoo shop. I had some time. Went to college, Utica College of Syracuse University, upstate. You know, graduated cum laude, and couldn't really. They want to take a shot at me in grad school because I had a felony. They, you know, so many applicants. The felony always put me at the bottom of the pile. But my life was pretty crappy when I was younger. I was molested when I was 8 and repeatedly molested by my cousins from when I was 10 to 12. And that's when I found drugs after I was released from his supervision, which was supposed to be supervision, but it wasn't. And I found out that drugs relieved the pain, but it was the 80s. It was a time when, you know, things were kept quiet under wraps, you know. I didn't tell anyone about my molestations. I held them in. And I found the streets in New York, you know, and learned how to sell myself to get drugs. And that's what I did, back and forth. My mom or my sister would come down here, find me, bring me back upstate. I, you know, make it through another year of school and then run away again. Eventually ended up, you know, graduating high school and then came down here in '84 and stayed until, not exactly sure, my life's, the dates are screwy. So somewhere around 92, I think, and then I went back up, continually, you know, being strung out on dope. So I did a lot of stealing, a lot of you know, prostitution, a lot of drugs, and I ended up getting busted in '98 doing I did a 18-month prison sentence with 6.5 years on paper after that. Decided to get clean, and when I came out of prison, I had, you know, 18 months clean. Got a counselor and stayed clean for actually almost 12 years. Well, I stayed clean off dope for 12 years. I stayed clean off, you know, pot and alcohol for 10. Bought a building, didn't know anything about contracting. I tried to, like, I don't know, model my heroes in life. My dad died when I was 8. My brother-in-law became my new dad. He was a businessman. He was a contractor. You know, he ran a couple other businesses. I wanted to be him. I wasn't. I find that out after, but you know, that's what I wanted to do to make him happy. And you know, I jumped into this contracting thing head first, and you know, I ended up being like $375,000, you know, into it. Cut my fingers off near the end. Workman's comp wasn't enough to pay the $3,000 a month I needed. Owed $90,000 in back taxes. City takes it from me, and now I'm homeless in Utica. Bad place to be homeless. Can't make money. Can't do anything. So I came back down here to work on a master's. I worked on a master's in ESL, and I did an intensive summer courses at the new school where I did 4 master's courses in 8 weeks. And believe it or not, I did fairly well. I had a room because tuition was cheap. You know, I got a 3.6 coming out of that. It was enough to get enough of the scholarship for fall. With my loan, but not enough to pay for housing. So I tried to, you know, tackle a fall term, homeless, and grad school. It didn't work. I couldn't keep the grades up. It was all online, which didn't matter about my hygiene. But as soon as I got in front of the computer screen, I just zoned out and was asleep. I couldn't type a coherent sentence. I made myself look like an ass. Yeah. So I ended up, like, you know, going down to a 2.8. Said to him, I can't do this, I'll come back another time, which I haven't. I've been on the streets since then. It's been 4 years. I now have not talked to church, but a church has offered to help me, and I'm starting in November. I'm starting at the Resource Center in a KSAC program, which has a guaranteed 3-year paid internship when I'm done. So in November, I got 12 months of schooling. It's like another short sentence, and then I see a paycheck and housing. So I see my way out.
Beautiful.
This time around, I have on and off done drugs on the streets. It's tough, My 14 years aren't 14 years anymore. It's like, I don't think I ever got really a 14 years. I do methadone once in a while, I go on a program and it gets too screwy and then I get off. It's getting close to winter. It's when it gets bad for me. I get real depressed and
Here's my
drugs
question.
call.
How old are you now?
I'm 46.
46.
Yeah.
You look good for 46.
I always live a healthy life. I try to anyway. I was always vegetarian. I was the kid that would kill the dog, the meat, eat the vegetables. Other than that, I've had 5 ODs.
Right,
yeah, I've had 5 ODs in my life. I've lived a crazy life. Don't know why I'm alive. I don't question it. The KSAC thing is one of the reasons I'm, thinking maybe that's why I'm alive. Maybe I can help, 1 or 2 people before I do pass on. I'm writing all of my crazy stories down of how I lived, mostly in the 80s. I sit here all day long. I'm not really, screwed up now, so it's like stories aren't as zany, but
Right.
the 80s and 90s, it's like, Bill Burrow is junkie and queer, times 1,000. It was
Sure.
a totally different time.
Sure.
And it reads like I talk to you, which I like,
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be able to find someone to publish it. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. Hopefully this, maybe helps. Maybe
I hope it does.
I need, I have 2 little laptops that both won't let me, use a Word program. So I try and do it all on Google Word now. I'm at the editing stage. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy that school's starting. Not happy winter's coming. But people are a lot more generous in the winter here in the city. I really don't need for a lot. I always have food. I mean, I gained 30 pounds last winter. It was pretty bad. All kind of carbohydrates. Now I force them to get me smoothies. But other than that, I try and keep a positive attitude. I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I don't really. I want to believe. Not sure. I'm on that fence. Something's kept me here. Something's put all this together.
You better believe it.
Don't know what it is. I don't really ask what it is, but I know it's a lot bigger than you. Not for now. I use all the people that are all stronger than me, and that's my higher power. People that make it every day. I don't look down on people that are strung out. I don't have that better than look now that I'm not strung out like some people do.
Let me explain something. The purpose of this is also to let people know, don't ever judge people. Don't ever judge people because you don't know where they've been and you don't know where they're going.
Exactly. I have like contractors look at me and laugh at me. It's like, I have contracting, certificates. I have, Literacy of America certificates. I have certificates galore. I have, a 4-year degree and cum laude from Syracuse University. I mean, yeah, it's because I went to Utica College. It was all Syracuse University instructors. So,
Yeah, you can't.
I'm not your typical bum on the streets, and you can't tell that when you look at
You
me.
can't judge a book by its cover. Am I right?
Exactly, so
Thank
these people
you,
will look
man.
at me and, I have probably more degrees and more education than they have underwear. So I try not to talk to them too much because, I don't know, I sort of get bummed out, because they just don't look at me, get a job, well, let me have a consistent phone, a place to, lay down. What do I put? 100 Broadway at Pine, I have resumes. No one calls. I haven't had work since my business. I always work for myself too, so that's another hurdle.
Here's the question I have for you. If someone wanted to, seeing this program, if someone saw this program, how could they contact you if they wanted to help you?
They could email me at jmakohen@gmail.com. I check it, irregularly, but I check it.
Right.
So I do have a Obama phone, but my minutes go fast, so that's not consistent. But Gmail is always going to be there, and I always check it.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so much.